Hey friends, it's Len here at 1A Auto. Today we're going to be doing a fairly simple job. We're going to be replacing a serpentine belt tensioner on a 2010 Nissan Altima. It's going to be a fairly easy job. I want to be the guy that shows you how to do it. So if you need this or any other quality part, you can always come and check us out at 1aauto.com. So removing this wheel, we're going to use a 21mm socket. We're going to go around and just loosen up all 5 of these lug nuts. We don't need to take them off all the way, and we don't want to loosen them up too much. We just want to break them free while the wheels are just barely on the ground with a little bit of the weight of the vehicle, just so the wheel doesn't spin. So I'm going to go ahead and turn them to the left. So now I'm going to continue with removing all the lug nuts. You can use something like an air gun if you wanted to, or continue with your ratchet. But these are loose enough that I can do them by hand. I'm just going to remove all 5 of these. Okay, so last lug nut, I'm holding the wheel. Just going to set this out of the way. Move this right out of the way. So we have the forward part of the bumper off for another video we're doing, but I'm just showing you what we're doing for this part, right? We get the wheel off so we can get to this plastic shield right here. We're going to remove this, and then we're going to come from up and under, and we'll be able to see the tensioner and how the serp belts ran under there. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of these push clips. Basically, you pull the center out, and then the outer side comes out with it. The center is the part that locks it in. Just take these out. See if I can get this down and out of here. Come on, baby. There we are. Now we have view of the serpentine belt. Should be the tensioner right here. So what we'll do is we'll relieve tension from the tensioner so we can get the belt off, and then we'll go ahead and remove the tensioner as well. So I'm going to be taking a 14mm on my serpentine belt tool. I'm going to put it right on the tensioner bolt here. I'm going to try to turn this clockwise and get it re-ratcheted. There we go. It relieves pressure on this belt. So now if I wanted to, I could take the belt off, which I do want to. So I'm going to go like that. There we are. Just going to get my tool out of here. Okay. You can leave the belt in, take the belt out. We're going to be replacing it, so I'm just going to take the whole belt out. If I wasn't replacing it, I would probably just try to leave it on as many pulleys as I could to be less work for me when I go to put it all back together. Let's see if I can pull it out. Here's our serpentine belt. So one of the first things we do once we get the belt off, we're going to compare it to our new belts, right? We want to make sure that the length is the same, the thickness is the same, and the count of the ribs on the inside is the same, okay? So here we go. I'm just going to take both of them. I'm going to lay them across one finger, bring my hand, straighten out the belt first. Sorry about that. Okay, I got one finger there, one finger here. Stretch them. They're about the same. Feels good. Okay, we'll just compare the thickness of the belt. As you can tell, it's about the same thickness. Wonderful. I'm gonna go like this. We'll count the ribs. I count 6 on each belt, so it looks perfect. This belt should be great to install. Let's do it. So now we're gonna remove our tensioner, which is this unit right here. There's 2 mounting bolts. There's one located right up here, one located right there. Those are 13mm heads. So you're gonna need a socket on your ratchet that will come out far enough so you won't hit up against anything, but not too far where it's gonna get jammed up against the inside fender, all right? Or inside body, I guess you'd say. Because what'll happen is as you're unscrewing these bolts, they're gonna keep pushing out, so that means that your ratchet's gonna keep moving out. It might get jammed up in between here and the bolt, then it's gonna cause you an issue. So you're just gonna wanna pay attention as you're unscrewing it, just to see how far you can go. You might have to take the ratchet out and just use your hand the rest of the way. But we'll do that and we'll see how it goes, okay? Just gonna get this 13mm on here. There isn't too much room inside here to work, and that's okay. You know, that's part of the fun of it, the challenge, right? That's why we're here. Why we're not paying somebody else to do it. I'm just gonna see if I can break this free. It's gonna be a little bit hard. There we are. I'm turning counterclockwise or to the left. with my ratchet. Seems like it's nice and loose. I'm gonna do this one. Just gonna try to turn it counterclockwise again. Feels pretty loose. I can move the tensioner around. Means we're going the right way with everything, so that's always nice. I'm gonna go ahead and try to remove that upper one, and then I'm gonna come back down here and finish removing this one, which is much easier to see and do things and hold on to. I got my hand jammed in here a little bit. I'm trying to get this top bolt out. That was fun. You know, hand's a little crampy, that's okay. Now we're just gonna remove that lower bolt that I told you about. So I'll put this one bolt aside where I can find it. I'm gonna continue with the lower bolt, turning it to the left. Dinner time. I wish it was dinner time. It's nice and loose. I'm just gonna wiggle the tensioner around. Sometimes with the weight of the tensioner or the way it wedges in, it might make the bolt feel like it's kind of jammed. Here we go. I got that. Last bolt. Okay. Now I'm gonna see about getting the tensioner out of here. Let's see if we can bring it out this way. Oh boy, what are we gonna do? Let's try spinning it a little bit. See if there's anything else we can do. Yeah, okay. So there we go. This is the way it came out, like that. To go back in, I'm gonna try to do the same thing. I'm gonna go and move it and get it, and then assumedly it'll end up like this. Top bolt, bottom bolt, in. Tensioner will be installed. We have our tensioner out of our 2010 Nissan Altima, and we have a new quality 1A auto part right here, brand new tensioner. I like to just notice a couple things. We've got our mounting holes on the original. Stay, thank you. Our mounting holes on the new one. Perfect, we got two, nice. Our pulley, brand new pulley. Great quality bearing in there. This one right here, part of the reason why we're replacing it. Bad bearings, just keeps going for days, makes a little noise. We'll turn them around. Everything pretty much looks the same here. We'll match it up. That looks good. So, as you can tell, we have a great quality part to reinstall. So we'll put this one aside. If you need this or any other part, you can always check us out at 1aauto.com. So now it's going to be time to install our new quality 1A auto part. When it's in and it's going to be sitting inside the bracket, it's basically going to be sitting looking like this. Not like this, or like this, or like this, or like that. Okay? And go just like this. To get it in, we're going to start in this general way, and then we're just going to kind of finagle it and hope that we can squeeze it in. We got it out, so we know it's going to have to go in somehow too. Might just take a little bit of finagling. We'll work at it. Take our time. You might get it jammed in there pretty good. Of course, watch your fingers for any pinch points. As stuff moves around, you start getting more aggravated. Things are going to start flopping around. Okay, so we're in. So I'm going to get my hand hopefully up here a little bit. There we are. So it definitely doesn't go here, right? It's going to go up there. But while I've got it sitting here, I'm going to grab my mounting bolts, or at least one of them, and I'm just going to get it up, lined up with the bottom bolt, which is the one that I can try to reach, and I'll try to start it in, okay? I'm not going to tighten it up. I'm just going to start it in a few threads, and then I'm going to be able to move the tensioner around to try to line up the second hole. I'll get that one started in, and I can even tighten it up completely at that point, as long as the other one's already started, and then we'll move on, okay? So I'm using a 13mm socket, small wobble socket or extension. It just kind of makes it so I can try to get to where the bolt hole is, and I'm not hitting up against here, hopefully. Next, I'm going to try to line up my tensioner bottom hole with the threaded hole on the engine right there. You're going to need to use a lot of patience for a lot of this type of stuff. Just go slow. The more times you try, the faster you're going to go, the harder it's going to get. Let's get it kind of started in there a little bit. If it seems like it's getting stiff, you could try wobbling the tensioner around a little bit. Okay. Feels like it's in there a little bit. I'm just gonna grab my socket, my little 1/4 inch drive setup I used here. I'm just gonna try to get it in a couple more threads. Like I said, I'm not gonna tighten this right down. I don't want it tight. I want to still be able to move my tensioner around. Okay? Now I'm gonna try to look. It looks like that second hole should line up perfectly. So I'm gonna grab my second bolt right here. I'm gonna see about trying to get my hand up in there, which is gonna be pretty much impossible, but I'm gonna try. That's what I'm here for. I'm gonna go through the pain and I'm gonna show you. Now it's really hard to get both hands up in here. It's harder than getting just one, and getting one up in there is hard. Okay, I'm pretty sure I got it at least semi-lined up with the hole. The tensioner is not tightened at all. I need to be able to move it around. I feel like I got a couple threads on it. There we are. So now I'm just gonna grab that small ratchet and I'm gonna try to tighten it down. I know I have the bottom one in a few threads, so this top one, I can just go ahead and tighten right up if I want, which I do. Yep, we are. I can tell because it's pushing the tensioner out, pushing my hand. So now I'm just gonna use my ratchet. I've got it pretty much bottomed out. Just gonna give it a little bit more. There we go. Maybe I'll just go one more just like that. Feels pretty good. This isn't a very long ratchet, okay? If I was using a ratchet out this long, well, I mean, you're gonna have a lot of leverage there. So going that little bit is gonna be putting a lot of torque on that little bolt. And we are just threading into aluminum, so you have to think about that as well. Use your best judgment. We want it to be tight. We don't want to strip out any of these holes. It's gonna be really hard to chase down these threads and or make a new hole if you end up having to do that for some reason. So I'm just gonna tighten this one up. It's gonna take a minute because I'm only doing little, I don't know, 1/8 inch turns here, or 1/8 turns. All right, so I would say we're pretty much bottomed out there. I'm gonna give it a little bit more. That was just the thing slipping, that's okay. Go one more. There we go. Give it a little wiggle. Feels pretty great. Now we're clear to mount our serpentine belt. So we've got our serpentine belt. We've got our quick drawn belt routing here. Pretty easy. Alternator, water pump, power steering pump, tensioner, crank, AC, back up. I'm gonna start up here. So basically I'm just gonna try to weasel my belt all the way up to the top, get it around that alternator pulley up at the top, try to make sure that it's inside all the grooves. I'm gonna let it hang down and then I'm gonna work it. I'm gonna come down around here, around the water pump, over to the power steering, back around this way to the tensioner, crank, AC, and it all should line up by the time I'm done. If you can't get this up over the alternator up top from down here, just, pop the hood. Pop the hood, set it up from up there, and then work it a different way. But this is the generalized way that it's gonna have to go in the long run. You do you, boo-boo. So I'm gonna try to get this serpentine belt in between all these pulleys. I'm gonna use my pry bar, try to work it. Hopefully this pry bar is long enough to get me above that alternator pulley. There we are. I'm just gonna push it on. Okay. Water pump, being a pain in the butt. Oh, as soon as I got it on, it came right off. It's fun. Okay, here we go. So we're on the alternator up there. Now what do we gotta do? We're gonna come around that water pump. I don't lose the alternator up there, hopefully. Yeah, okay. So it came back off. It's all right. We're gonna do this a few times. If you're doing this on the ground, you might find it easier just to come from the top and do this. At least get it over the alternator and then bring it down around everything. Okay, so we went alternator, water pump. We're bringing it around. We're gonna come to the power steering pump pulley, which is this one right here. Okay? Now I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna go straight across the engine to our tensioner pulley right here. And go up and over the top of that. You can tell which way the belt goes generally, because if it's a flat, smooth pulley, it goes on the back side of the belt. If it's a ribbed pulley, like that right there, obviously the ribs sit in there. It's pretty easy to figure that out. going to bring this side down around the AC compressor pulley. And there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to hold a little bit of tension on it with my hand, nothing too crazy. I'm going to look up, see how everything looks. It looks like I'm on that AC up there. No, sorry, not the AC, the alternator. I'm on the AC down here. Power steering pump, looks good. Okay, so we're going to grab our tool with our 14 millimeter, whether you're using a wrench or something like this with a socket on it. I'm going to turn it clockwise, which relieves tension from the tensioner. Just try to slide it up and over. I want to try to make sure it goes into all the grooves. Slowly relieve pressure. Make sure my tool's still together. It is. Okay. Now we're just going to look at the serpentine belt and all the pulleys once again. Make sure everything's sitting in nice. We can give the serpentine belt a little tug. Feels good. It's going around. Perfect. Now a good habit to do would be to spark up your vehicle. Let it run for, I don't know, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Turn it off, come back, check all your pulleys, make sure the belt wasn't off a tooth. If it is, it'll probably work its way off quite a bit at that point. But hopefully you didn't run it for too long where you would have destroyed your belt, right? If you run it for 2 minutes, well, it's been off a tooth all this time, you're gonna ruin your brand new belt. So we'll go 10, maybe 20 seconds. You just wanna start it up, let it run for a little bit. We know that the belt does all its looping around all the things, and then we'll turn it off, and then we'll check it, right? All right, so now that we've double checked to make sure our belt's all lined up on all the pulleys, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our little plate here. Should be fairly simple. We got this right here. This is gonna come in and right through the backside there. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to try to get that in first and then work this up and over, being very careful for our ABS wire that's hanging down here and our brake hose. So let's see what we can do. We can go one way, we can go the other way. Whichever way we go. Oh, first try. Oh, that's a surprise. Anyway, just gonna make sure the center's pulled out. Put it in, lock that one in. Now we can just go around and line up all the rest of them. Sometimes you'll get it and the center pushed in. Now it's in the locked mode, you can tell because all the prongs are pushed out. They all kind of made their way like that, just probably me holding on to them. There isn't too much pressure involved there. So I'll just grab my little pocket screwdriver again. Just gonna pry it. Okay, you can do that, or you can use your little fork tool if you have one. We basically just want the center to come up and out. I'm not gonna jump ahead and do the next one yet, because once I put this back in my other hand, it's probably gonna roll around and close up again. Just be a pain in the butt. Be like that kid chasing around the ice cubes. Picks one up and drops it out of his glass every time he bends over. There we are. So now it's time to put the wheel back on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we don't lift it with our back. We don't wanna come from the front, try to bend over and lift it up, squish our back. We wanna come from the side, put our leg up against it, just roll it up our leg. We can use our ab muscles to lift it up. That's why we got them. Put her on there. Just gonna hold it so it can't roll off. I'm gonna line up our hubcap hole with our little valve stem. Pretty easy. We'll get one lug nut on, get it started so we know the wheel can't fall off. Nice. Now we'll grab our other four and get those going. And then we'll just bottom them all out, and then we'll torque them up when we get it closer to the ground. We get the wheel on the ground. We don't have all the weight of the vehicle on it. We just wanted enough so the wheel can't spin while I torque it. I'm gonna go with my 21 millimeter socket, torquing this wheel to 83 foot-pounds, and I'm gonna go in a star pattern. I'm gonna start here, there, 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 there. Make a nice pretty star, just like we did in art class. And then if you wanna go around again, you can go around again. I could have probably bottomed them out a little bit more, but at least I didn't over-torque them, right? The reason for torquing in a star pattern like this is because if I just went around in a circle, I went here, here, here. Let's say that the wheel was kind of cockeyed onto the hub and it wasn't sitting perfectly straight. and I went ahead and I torqued over here and it kind of kinked it in. And then I could come around here and I might get a click, even though it's, 83. It might not be enough to really suck it in and, get it up right up against the hub. So if you go here, 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 it has no choice but to start it and then pull it in there, then pull it in, and everything's nice and situated at that point. And it's always good habit to just go around again. It doesn't take too much extra time. It doesn't cost you any extra money. So let's go around. There we go. So now we've completed our service. Great job, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.